2017 has been an incredible year for gaming, with contenders for Game of the Year releasing throughout the entirety of the year. But with so many games competing for your dollar, what are the best PS4 games? To limit the list a little bit, I'm only going to talk about PS4 console exclusives, meaning it's not on the Switch or Xbox One. So as much as I love Sonic Mania and Resident Evil 7, I'm sorry, now's not your time to shine. What's up guys, I'm Dave Klein, and today we're going to go over the top 5 PS4 games so far in 2017. Number 5. Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice. A few years ago, Ninja Theory, the infamous developers behind DMC Devil May Cry, began working on a new title, Hellblade. But this time around they decided to forego a publisher, creating what they dubbed an independent AAA game. The game immediately stood out for me, both for its strong, horrific art style and for its handling of psychosis. You see, the game revolves around Senua, who hears voices and has strange visions. Much of the game takes place with you not knowing what's real and what's going on in Senua's mind. For me, this is the type of game that tells a story in the way only a video game can, and I love that it does that. The gameplay and everything you experience as a player is meant to transport you right into Senua's point of view and experience her terrifying reality. The team consulted with neuroscientists and people diagnosed as psychotic in order to paint an accurate portrayal within Senua, and I commend them for the effort. If you enjoy innovative storytelling and gaming, I recommend checking out Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice. Number 4. Crash Bandicoot N-Sane Trilogy. Crash Bandicoot was the mascot of PlayStation 1, and for a time, considered the main rival to both Sonic and Mario. And while of the three, I was personally a fan of Mario, I couldn't deny just how much fun the Crash series was, especially Crash Bandicoot 2. And with Crash Bandicoot N-Sane Trilogy, Vicarious Visions has revived the classic franchise for a new generation. But with any reboot of a classic series, multiple questions arise. Does it stand the test of time? And was it even worth doing a reboot? Well, I think PS1 is the perfect era for reboots, as the visuals don't really hold up anymore, and with Crash N-Sane Trilogy, the visuals are stunning. The game absolutely pops, and the jungles of Wumpa Islands are a blast to explore. Not only this, but the classic gameplay holds up. Busting through boxes is a joy, and the controls have been streamlined so every game in the series controls the same. While that does make some jumps a little more difficult, it makes Crash 1 far more playable. N-Sane Trilogy comes with all 3 games originally created by Naughty Dog, and I can't recommend it enough. Number 3. Horizon Zero Dawn. When Horizon Zero Dawn was announced at E3 2015, expectations were high. Sony had an incredibly impressive showing, and even amongst Final Fantasy VII and The Last Guardian, Horizon Zero Dawn stood out. A post-apocalyptic open-world game where you get to fight off giant robotic beasts? Yes, please. While the game has been frequently compared to Breath of the Wild as they both came out around the same time, it's an unfair comparison. While they're both open world, they're completely different, with Horizon Zero Dawn being more of a story-driven RPG. The action is always fun, with several methods for taking down the various machines you'll be fighting, and you'll also be able to advance a basic skill tree to level up in a manner that best fits your playstyle. The game is visually stunning, and the world is a blast to explore, and unlike Breath of the Wild, many of the side missions are story-driven and thus more interesting. The world feels rich and detailed, and if you have time in your life for an open world game, you won't go wrong with Horizon Zero Dawn. Number 2. Nioh. Team Ninja, not to be confused with Ninja Theory, are behind my number 2 pick, Nioh. If you're not aware of who Team Ninja is, they're the development team behind both Dead or Alive and Ninja Gaiden. And speaking of Ninja Gaiden, Nioh takes influence from both that and one of my favorite games of all time, Dark Souls. And I know it's kind of a meme at this point to compare games to Dark Souls, but the success of Dark Souls is actually how Team Ninja was put in charge of the project, with publisher Koei Tecmo deciding that they'd have the ability to make this type of game. And for me, the gameplay was a great fusion of Dark Souls and Ninja Gaiden without feeling like a direct ripoff of the former. It's incredibly intricate, with multiple stance changes affecting how you use your weapons and what combos you'll be able to use. It has a fairly steep learning curve and is a challenging game, but that's part of what makes it so rewarding, and a huge part of what I loved about the game. While I don't recommend the game to everybody as the challenge and learning curve may be too steep for many, it's a game I grew to absolutely adore, and one that stood out on its own even when compared to both Dark Souls and Ninja Gaiden. Number 1. Persona 5. As much as I love JRPGs, somehow I never got around to the Persona series. I'm not really sure why, and playing Persona 5 has made me question my own judgment. While I do have a few gripes with the storytelling of the game, it just completely drew me in. In Persona 5, you play a protagonist, who I named Dave, of course, who's been expelled from his school due to the crime of accidentally injuring a powerful man while trying to prevent him from raping someone. Yeah, so from the get-go, you are wrongly punished for doing the right thing, and you're immediately put on a year's probation and tossed into a transfer school in Tokyo, where you'll discover you have a new power: the ability to go into a metaverse where you can find and fight the shadow versions of corrupt people. This gives you two distinct mechanics: the daily school life, where you'll try to juggle studying for school, having a social life, and dating girls, as well as RPG mechanics in the metaverse, where you'll be collecting personas and fighting off shadows. Both of these are an absolute blast, and the style of the game is fresh and unique. Seriously, whoever designed the interface for the game deserves an award. If you're a fan of JRPGs or just happen to have an interest in checking out a story-driven game, I highly recommend giving Persona 5 a shot. That does it for my top PS4 games in 2017 so far. While these are my personal choices, I would love to know what games would make your list and why. 2017 has been such an incredible year for gaming, it's been hard to get around to everything, and I'd love to know what you think I might have missed. And I'll see you guys next time. Peace.